It's the Full Force News Burst brought to you by GeneralsJoes Reborn.com with me, Diagnostic 80. I hope everyone has their salt ready for pinching. Yep, it's a We Got This Covered exclusive. So while everyone else was reporting on the confirmed news that a new G.I. Joe sequel was in the works with Seaberg writers Shrapnel and Waterhouse in negotiations, controversial news site We Got This Covered were busy dropping an exclusive of their own. Even though they have a worse reputation than the Clintons and spend half of their articles explaining why you should believe them this time, they dropped two massive bombshells. I've now managed to mention two Insecticons so far in this burst. One being the news that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson could be reprising his role as Roadblock, even though it's a reboot and he would technically be a different character. And two, he wants to bring his friend Ryan Reynolds along for the ride. Now, if this is legit and there is a possibility of getting Johnson and Reynolds to both jump on board for this movie, then it could be great news for the brand. Both stories were rife with speculation, of course, explaining that they would be looking at Dwayne Johnson to reprise the role, albeit without directly referring to any of the previous events from Retaliation. So he'd be playing a totally different version of the character, in a similar vein to that of Ryan Reynolds in Wolverine Origins, and then again in Deadpool. WGTC also mentioned that the movie was still operating under the Ever Vigilant moniker, and that if Dwayne Johnson does return, then he wants to bring Reynolds along with him. Apparently he enjoyed working with him in Hobbs & Shaw and Netflix Red Notice so much that if he decides to return for the upcoming reboot, he'd want the Deadpool star on board too. They also suggested that Reynolds would be playing Flint, a character portrayed in Retaliation by DJ Katrona, of course. Now, my money would be on Chuckles, which would be pretty amazing, and considering that character has been mentioned in the leaked script details for Ever Vigilant, then I don't think it would be too much of a stretch either. Not too long ago, the same site claimed their sources expected Mark Wahlberg to be getting the role of Duke as well, so all in all, the budget is currently at $43 trillion US. All joking aside, I would love Reynolds on board, and Dwayne Johnson just oozes charisma and appeal, so much so they would be crazy not to at least consider a return for him. It's all speculation at this stage, of course, and as most people will say, it is a We Got This Covered article, so don't hold your breath. That way, you can still smell what The Rock is cooking. That's it for this instalment of the Full Force News Burst. Thank you to my awesome co-host, me, see you next time, and as always, Full Force. Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos, and as always you can keep up with the show after listening by following on Twitter @TheFullForce, liking the Facebook page facebook.com/TheFullForce, and if you would like to contact the show you can message us on either of those platforms with feedback or questions. We have also started a Patreon page, so if you want to see your name up in lights on these videos or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/TheFullForce podcast or click the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force.